Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. Today, we're going to talk about auto notes, the smart notes that we can use within auto notes, and we'll also talk about treatment planning. So we'll start first with your auto notes. So to create an auto note template, basically you're going to start on there's a couple ways to do it, but we'll start here on our practice management home screen, and we will go to lists. And we're going to go ahead and drop down here a little more than halfway down to auto notes. So of course, my database here, I have several auto notes made already. We can take a look at a couple just for example. So an auto note, basically, you're going to create this template for your various procedures that you do throughout the day, every day, in order to just make your note documenting just a lot more efficient, faster, and you'll have, no spelling errors. Well, I guess I shouldn't say no, but far less spelling errors than if you were just typing your note on the fly. So auto notes are super convenient, and you can customize them to however you would like them to be. You can also make them various different colors if you would like as well. So in prior versions of Eaglesoft, prior to version 20, we had only auto notes. So when version 20 came out, we had an enhancement within our software, which are smart notes. So these smart notes are kind of like, a list of options or choices that you can insert into your actual auto notes. So for example, I'm looking at this crown auto note, and I already have some smart notes over here created, and I will go through, I'll show you how to do a few smart notes today. But let's just say when I'm entering in what type of anesthetic used, I could simply just come over here. So this is the creation of our notes now. We're not actually entering a note for a patient. So I'll go over here and I will find my anesthetic smart note. And I'll click that arrow to insert this over into my auto note. Carpioles given, I'll put a little space here, and then I will click on number. Prepped ceramic tooth. So you can put, tooth number here. I'll put number again. Tooth condition. Now you can create an auto note that could list various types of conditions for, what state the tooth is in. Shade. Let's see, I do have a shade auto note. And lab use. So if you have your labs here as a smart note, due date, we can also put date here, right? So I went ahead and inserted various smart notes into this auto note. And what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to put an asterisk here. That way I know through my list which of my notes I have made with smart notes, just for demonstration's sake here. So I'm going to go ahead and put OK. And then when I close that, let me just go into a chart here. And I don't even have to go into a chart. I can just go into note history, and I'll go into my last person, which is Brenda Baker. I'll hit use. And now let's say I want to go ahead, say I did a crown prep on her today. I want to enter that note in there. Here is my note. I'm going to just select that. That is my drop-down list here of all my auto notes. Now I'm going to hit insert. So it's going to prompt me to pick one of the choices here. So for anesthetic used, I'm going to go ahead and pick just, lidocaine. Replace. Carpioles given. We can see over here it's prompting me. I'll say 2. Prepped tooth number. I'll say 3. Shade. We'll do A2. Lab use. Let's see, I used Azure. And date due. So we'll go ahead and do 2 weeks out here. Well, that was just a week, really. Let's do 2 weeks. And replace. So now when I hit OK, I'm going to go into that note screen. I can make any edits that I need to. And I can also add anything that I'd like to add here. So you'll see it went ahead and inserted all those smart notes that I entered in here. And then if you want, you can put your initials here. I'm going to go ahead and hit here, save note. Now, when I look up in my note ledger, there's my note. I'm going to hit close. Let's go back to lists and auto notes. So say you wanted to create an entirely new auto note. If you hit new, you would type in your description. So, I know not every provider, includes the exact same items within their notes. So you could certainly type in, so if your hygienists, have different note styles or writing styles, you could always write in, Profi, and then the name, of the hygienist, or she could put her initials, or he could put his initials, however you want to do that. And that way, when they're going to pick from that list of auto notes, they know that this is the one they created, and it will include everything that they typically write into their note. So you could go in and create your auto note with or without smart notes. That's entirely up to you. But it is kind of nice to have this drop down. It's a lot of setup work initially, but once it's done, and you'll have that convenience from here on out. So, you could always go in, I typically will review the medical history initially. And I'll go ahead and document any changes. And then I could write, yes or no. So I'll go ahead and put that. And you can always expand on that within your note once it's in there and you're typing that out for that specific patient. If there is a, chief complaint, I will typically write that as well. Any radiographs. So I'll go ahead and put that smart note there. Exam, I don't know if I have exam type. So let's just say I want to go ahead and determine what type of an exam. Now, we know typically with Profis, we do those periodic exams, but let's just say we want to put a smart note in there and we could pick what type of exam we're having for the day. I don't have one in here. So you could even add a smart note from this particular window here. So if I add smart note, I can go ahead and title that, examination, type of exam performed. And then for prompt text, I can put exam. And then for my responses, I'll go ahead and I'll add periodic exam. And then I'll click this add down here. Comprehensive exam. And then I'll add limited exam. I'll also put in their perio exam. And then I'll hit OK. So now I can go ahead, here's my smart note for that, and I can enter that in there. Then I can go ahead and type, either way, you could write treatment performed, and then you can have a drop down, for adult Profi, child Profi, polish, debridement, whatever you want, or you can just type in, Profi. You can have as many auto notes as you'd like. So if you want to have one auto note for Profi, one auto note for debridement, one auto note for the scaling with in the presence of inflammation, we know there's all those different codes. That's entirely up to you. So either way, Profi, and within that, you could write in your typical procedures that you do within that Profi, right? So I know most people will Cavitron, hand scale. You can polish or, air polisher, floss. You can even write in, if you're using Profi paste, you can make a smart note for the different flavors or grit levels that you use as well. So that's, depending on really how detailed you want to get, you can do that. And then if we write in, fluoride, and then you could do that, yes or no again. Or you could create a smart note, which I haven't done. I was going to do that. Let's do another smart note. So I'll type here fluoride. And then do type of fluoride applied. And we'll go ahead and fluoride here. And then we can put in varnish. You could do gel. You can do foam. You can write none. So, and if you have different flavors of your varnish, you can certainly add the different flavors in here as well. And then we can hit OK. And then for fluoride, now I can go ahead and enter in that smart note here. Okay. And then you could type in, OHI, what you typically, recommend brushing at least twice a day with electric toothbrush, floss daily, act, rinse, whatever you typically would say. You can still go in, and individualize that note once you're in that patient's record and you're entering in that note. But if you just want to put in, your basic instructions, you can go ahead and do that just for ease. And then if you, what do we do? Findings. So if you have any, decay or, any treatment that needs to be performed, we could do next recall. And then if you want to do your months. So let's just see here. I don't think I have that in here. So let's add a new smart note. We'll call it recall interval. And recall frequency. I'll just type in recall. Let's go ahead and adjust this. And then we can do, 3 month, 4 month, 6 month. And then we can enter that here. And then, and so on and so forth. I'll just go ahead and put my initial here. I am also going to put this asterisk. That way I know that I have included smart notes in here. So when we go in here, we'll see that that has been created. If I'm going to go ahead and write notes again, let's say we're doing a cleaning on Brenda. And I'm going to go ahead and write my notes. I can either do this drop down here. Now, if it's, something that you don't have an auto note for, anything in Eaglesoft that's blue and hyperlinked is going to take you to the list of information. So it's going to take you to your auto notes list here. You can always write a new one from here or edit one as well. But since I know I already have mine in here, I'm going to go to that list. And there it is. Once I click it, I hit insert auto note. And now I'm going to have my responses. If your response isn't listed up here in this smart note, you can always choose to write a custom response here. So I will say, yes, see med history. X-rays, we'll say I took 4 bite wings. We did a periodic exam today. We did caramel varnish. And then recall is going to be 6 months. Now I hit OK. I go in here, I see my notes, and I can enter in specifics individualized to this patient. And no findings, next recall 6 months. So that's how your auto notes would work. Now, it's important over here to see, you see the save as auto note or save note. So if this is just your auto note, you are inputting information for this particular patient. You just want to save the note. Now, if you actually want to, type up an auto note from here without specific individualized information for that patient, you could do that and save that as an auto note. But don't just go in here, individualize and customize your note for that particular patient and save it as an auto note, because your auto note list is going to be so long with all kinds of notes that, are relative to individual patients. So just make sure you hit save note. And there we see it up in our note ledger. So that's how you do it from within that note. Now, when we go back to lists, we saw that, that's where we created our auto note. We can also come down here to Smart Notes and just create, individual Smart Notes from here. I did it from within that auto note window. So either way, you can do that. Okay, sorry about that. So we'll go ahead now and we will take a look at our treatment planning. So if we're in someone's chart, let's just use Mark Abbott here. He only has a couple of things. And we want to say he has some work that we're proposing. I have my status bar down here on proposed. And let me go ahead and propose some treatment here. So maybe he has some chips on number 8 and 9. I'm going to highlight them. Come over here to composite A for composite anterior. Select incisal. So now I have my 2 incisal composites proposed. Now he has some decay on number 12. So we got a DO. And number 13 has an MO. Okay. We need to have these wisdom teeth extracted. So I'll go ahead and hit extract. And then we need a crown on number 19. So I went ahead and I selected the exploding code that I have created for the crown, core buildup, and the seat. Oh, this is, sorry, I selected endo. Okay, he needs endo as well. All right, so we have, quite a bit of treatment here. I'm going to save this. And now I'm going to create a treatment plan or a couple of treatment plans here for this patient. I'm going to print it out and the patient will keep a copy and I will save a copy into the SmartDoc. If you want, you don't have to do that. The treatment plan will remain. But if you wanted to say, maybe have the patient sign that treatment plan, you could either do it electronically or you could do it, have them sign it and scan it into your SmartDoc, however you'd like to do that. But let's just say we're going to first, Mark Abbott, he wants to know everything he needs to get done. So lay it all on the line, doc. Let me know what I need. And we're going to do that. We're going to tell him and show him everything he needs to have done. But we're not going to do it all in one day. We're going to phase this treatment. So I'm going to come down here. I can click treatment plan from here. I can also go into this middle integration button drop-down menu and click it from here. If you're doing it from the front desk, you could simply click treatment plan here. So I'm going to go ahead and click it from here. And since we were in his chart, it pulls his name in. Now this window is telling me no plans exist and if I want to create one. So I'm going to click yes. And then you can give it a description. So I like to put dates within my description. And I'm going to say, treatment. Okay. If there's any notes I would like to put in here, I could put some notes in here. Now when I hit OK, it's going to bring up everything, any planned service that we have proposed. It also brings in my accepted services here. But we can see that if I double click over here on this status, it'll bring everything that's proposed to the top if you wanted to do it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and select everything, and then I will phase it or stage it. I'm not going to select what's already accepted and scheduled in an appointment. I'm just going to select all the proposed. So now it brings all of those proposed services into this treatment plan here. When we look under this number sign or hashtag, as we call it now, this is where you're going to enter your number of phases. So if I want to do, we'll just say that the root canal is of utmost importance here because there's a pretty big infection. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. So that's number 1. And then we'll do, well, in the meantime, while that's healing, we'll give that a few weeks. We're going to go ahead and do our fillings on number 8 and 9 because those are pretty simple. We don't want to traumatize him. Following that, we'll have him back and do the crown buildup and, excuse me, the core buildup and the crown. Okay. When he comes back for the seat, we'll do number 12 and 13 along with the seat. And finally, after all that is done, we're going to go ahead and do those extractions. Okay. So now we have them phased. We just want to put them in order so that our insurance estimations will be correct. So I'm just going to click on this number sign here and you'll see it puts them in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so everything's in order. You can come back here, you can edit if you'd like, if you need to. So now this is all going to print out. I can't show you how it's going to print, but if you process this and you print that treatment plan for the patient, you'll be able to see these phases broken up into subtotals here. So you'll see a phase 1 subtotal with the amount, phase 2 subtotal. If you do a treatment plan presentation, I think we can see this here. It's not going to break it up into the phases. It's just going to show them all. It'll have them in order, but you're not going to get necessarily the subtotals, and it's not going to show you the number, the phase number here. It looks nice though. You can also do an informed consent. So if you have any images, if you're using Eaglesoft Advanced Imaging and you have X-ray images or intraoral images, if you click on your images tab over here, I do have one. Awesome. So you could click it. All of your images will be listed here and you simply select what image you want. You could see it down here. I'll hit OK. And if I want to do an informed consent, I'll click New. It didn't bring my image in there. Let me try that again. Let's see here, images. Here we go. Selected images, and let's go to new. Well, shucks, let's see if it brings my image in. Any plan notes you may have entered here, any images you assigned, a narrative, you must put a narrative. So, you know, if you have created some auto note narratives. You know, you can put those in here, and then you would have the patient sign and then the witness sign. And once you create that consent, it shows like this very nicely with the signatures. And then you can have this automatically save into their SmartDoc, or you can print it out, have them sign it. It's always going to be, you know, retrievable within their electronic record. I don't know why I couldn't get that image to show up. Let's try that again. Let's see if we have a different image here. Well, let's see if the patient photo will show up. Well, that's the previous one. Sorry, let's do this again. Let's do acquire new. There we go. Maybe that Pano file was too big. I'm not sure. It should show up. Let's see. Let me try again. Just don't want to make a liar out of me here. Okay. I can select. Well, interesting. The images will typically show up here, guys. So I like the informed consent. I think it's pretty cool. And then, you know, for that patient to have something in their hand to see what is planned, how much they will owe. People tend to forget as soon as they walk out the door. So let's just say we want to, I'm going to process this. Once you process that, if you click this box here, if you have more than one treatment plan, that's why I like my title of the treatment plan to just be very descriptive. I always put the date so you'll know which one to select to print. You can also do a pre-authorization if you want. You would simply just select this box and select it and go ahead and hit OK. Let's say that Mark is the kind of patient that gets overwhelmed and he just wants to do things step by step. He doesn't want to see everything he needs all at once. Let's just get the first thing done. After that, show me what the next, you know, plan is and go from there. So you just gauge it how, you know, your patient, you gauge the patient pretty much. So I'm going to create several different treatment plans. Let's just do initially the root canal. So I'm going to put my date and RCT number 19. I think it was number 19. Let's see. Yep, number 19 here. And I'll hit OK. So now this pops up again. It shows me all my services not in a treatment plan. And then it's showing me all these services that are in a treatment plan. You can still pick from these and create other treatment plans as well. I'm going to go ahead and select my root canal, hit OK. So this will be my first treatment plan. It shows me, you know, insurance estimations. You can still do your informed consent, you know, if you want, attach any images. Once I hit process and I go to print that plan estimate, you see how I have the previous one there. And now here's my root canal. So I'll hit OK. And I'm going to do another one for the fillings on number 8 and 9. So I'll put my date again. And I'm going to go ahead and select those. So then here's my other treatment plan. So on and so forth. Go back. I'll create another one. New plan. My date. You don't have to put a date. You know, again, you can call these whatever you want. And let's say I'm going to do my crown build up. Number 19. Hit OK. And I'm going to select that. And we have that in there, process. So now you'll see, as you know, if we go to print, we see more and more treatment plans building up here. So you can create one giant treatment plan and phase it, or you can create multiple treatment plans. Just remember, if you're going to phase it, just make sure you click that hashtag and make sure they're in order. Again, that way your insurance estimations, as far as, you know, your benefits remaining and all that will be accurate. So that's it. I hope this short little video helped you when doing AutoNotes and SmartNotes and your treatment plan.